Welcome to this gentle yoga practice, which prepares us for meditation by helping us open the body. Take a few moments to bring the palms together in front of the chest. Sit with your spine nice and long, shoulder blades moving down the back. If you would like to allow the head to drop forward and close the eyes, that you may do so. Take a couple of moments here to tune into the breath. Bring the mind into a nice, quiet, still place, creating a gentle rhythm for your breath. We'll be here for just a few minutes. Then slowly allow that head to come back up to center. Open the eyes, bring the arms up and out. Do that 2 more times. Pause here, stretching those arms forward so the fingertips are stretching toward the opposite wall. Lengthen the spine, take a twist over to your right. So the left hand goes on the right thigh, right hand behind the right hip, lengthening the spine and possibly looking over the shoulder, if not looking straight ahead. Lengthening the spine, coming back to center, pausing here, just extending those arms one more time, and then we'll take our twist over to the left. Left hand goes behind the left hip, right hand goes on the left thigh, lengthening and twisting. Come back to center, extend the arms up overhead, so now the palms are facing, reaching up, lengthening the side body, interlacing the fingers, pressing the palms up toward the ceiling. Allow the head to release. Slowly come back up to center. Again, extend the arms so the palms are facing. This time we're dropping our fingers down and interlacing in the opposite direction. It may feel a little bit different. And then just allow the head to release down. Slowly come back up. Arms out to the side. One last stretch to either side of the body. And then from here we'll come to a reclining position on the mat. So as you come to lie on the mat, allow the legs and the feet to press forward. Just imagine you've got 4 points of the foot under your big toe, your little toe, either side of the heel. And you're trying to kind of press those 4 points forward, keeping the knees in line with the, with the feet, especially the first 2 toes. Then from here, extend the arms overhead, coming into a nice full body stretch. Inhale, reach the arms back. Exhale, stretch the legs and feet forward. And then on your next breath, we'll bring the right knee in toward the chest. So as you draw the knee in, extend the left leg. Left arm comes out to the side. Allow that right leg to open to the side. Move back to center. Now the right foot goes on the left thigh. The right arm extends and you're twisting over to your left. Coming back to center. Extend the leg. And slowly lower the leg to the mat. Left knee comes in toward the chest, drawing that knee in, extending that leg. Right arm comes out to the side, left leg comes out to the left side, keeping the hip grounded on the right. Come back to center. Left foot goes on the right thigh, and then you change hands. Right hand comes on to the upper thigh as you twist over to the right. Come back to center, extend the leg up toward the ceiling, and slowly, slowly release. Now bend both knees into the chest, gently rock from side to side. Pause here, extend the legs up toward the ceiling. You can bring the arms beside the side body or the arms out to the side, whichever is helpful to you. If it's helpful for you to bend your knees with this pose, feel free to do so, especially if you have any low back issues. So the feet are pressing up toward the ceiling, core is nice and engaged, so draw the lower belly up toward the chest, and then we'll slowly begin to lower the legs to the mat. And then once your heels touch, you bring those legs back up again. So if you're modifying this pose, you will come down with your knees bent and then straighten your legs. So we'll do that one more time. And up. Keep that core nice and engaged and that low back on the mat. Now bend both knees into the chest and we'll just gently rock from side to side. And roll over onto the right side and we'll come up into an all fours position. Arms are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. Moving into cat and cow. Take a breath here, inhale. And with your first exhale, just gently looking up. And inhale, exhale, tucking the chin to the chest. Move back and forth with this for about 3 more times. Inhaling and exhaling as you move through this. This is a wonderful stretch for the spine. And then moving forward, we'll extend our right arm out, straight out from the shoulders with the thumb pointing up and the left leg. Keep the core engaged. This is a little bit of a balance challenge here. You press the arms forward, press the leg back. And then slowly release this. And we'll come over to the other side. Slowly release. Coming back into child's pose. So dropping the hips back toward the heels. Just coming down as far as you're comfortably able to. Your arms are going to extend and the head releases. So your hips don't have to go all the way back toward touching your thighs, especially if you have any knee issues. Sometimes this is a little too much for the knees if you have some osteoarthritis of the knees. And then slowly come back up, and the next pose is downward facing dog, and I'm going to suggest a variation. If this pose is not comfortable for you, a nice variation is a pose called puppy's pose. So we'll walk our hands just a little bit ahead of the shoulders. I'll show this modification first. And if you're coming into puppy pose, you just drop the hips back slightly. So you're not quite in child's pose, but you're kind of moving in that direction, but not quite as deep as we did in child's pose. So you know that if that is your modification, that's where you need to be. Otherwise, arms in line, slightly ahead of the shoulders, tuck the toes, and gently lift the hips with the knees bent. So the hips are going to lift up toward the ceiling, and then as you lift those hips up, you can straighten the legs, and then gently allow the heels to drop back in the direction of the mat. They don't have to touch the mat, they're just moving in that direction. Take a couple, 3 to 4 breaths here. And then we'll release the knees to the mat. Let's come back one more time into a child's pose. The hips drop back toward the heels, arms extend. And then from here, slowly come forward. And then we'll come to a standing position. So we'll carefully come up into a standing position. And if you're able to come into a forward bend, your hands will come down and touch the mat. And if not, you can be right here. You can just come up halfway, and this is a good place to be. Another option would be to hold on to the elbows. And then we'll slowly come up and come to the center of the mat. And moving into some standing poses. So standing in the center of the mat, take a moment now to find a mountain pose again. So again, we lift those toes, press the toe mounds down. Remember the 4 points of the foot, the big toe, little toe either side of the heel. Now we'll step the feet apart. So this is going to be a fairly wide stance, just being where you are comfortably. Hands on the hips initially. Again, back's nice and straight, core is engaged. Turn the right foot out and just look down at the knee. The knee should be tracking with the first and second toe. And then just guide your hip points back to face center. The inner thigh presses back on that back leg. Arms extend to the side. And then to come into our warrior two, we gently bend the knee and extend the arms. And your knee, sometimes you may have a deeper bend in your knee, depending upon your knees. If those of us who have some arthritis or history of knee problems may not want to go as deep in this pose. So it's just very, very fine wherever you are in the pose. And now and you can look straight ahead or you can look over this right arm if you would like. And then now we'll drop the left hand down to the hip and then bring that right arm up, reaching up toward the ceiling. And this is a pose called and then we'll come back to center and slowly come back up. And then we'll turn to the other side. So now your left knee bends. And coming back up into center, arms extend, looking over the front arm if you like. And then dropping that back arm down, extend the arm up. This is a reverse warrior. I couldn't quite get that out on the other side, but that's what we call this one. And then we'll slowly come back up to warrior and then turn our feet together to face the front of the mat. Now again, we'll turn this right foot out and turn that left foot slightly in. Again, the same sort of a setup here. Be sure the feet are well grounded and your thigh presses back on that back leg. And this time we'll bend the knee, coming back into our warrior two pose, but this time bending the right elbow and placing the forearm on the thigh. And you can have your left hand on the hip if you would like, or if you are able to extend the arm. A really nice way to get into this pose that doesn't really stress the shoulders is to just bring the arms forward. Some people like to do a circle, and that kind of helps you to kind of get into the pose a little easier. So we press that arm forward and feel a nice stretch along the side of the body, the left side of the body. And then we'll slowly come up, and then we'll change sides, turning to the other side. And so bending that left knee, extending the arms, coming back into your warrior pose. And then from here we'll slowly come into side angle. Again, you can bring that arm forward and bring the arm overhead. And then we'll slowly come up, pausing again in warrior, straightening the legs, turning the feet forward, walking the feet together, again into fine mountain pose. Now we'll look at one balancing pose, and again, if you need to modify this, please feel free to do so. This is tree pose. Tree pose can be a difficult sometimes if your balance is a little challenged. So we'll balance first on our left foot. So initially just lift the toes, press those toe mounds down, just engage those 4 points of the foot, and then you'll bend your knee. And if you're going for a lesser version of the pose, which doesn't mean it's less helpful, it just means that you're just working with your body. You'll drop the heel down to the opposite ankle, and so the knee externally turns out slightly, and then you'll bring your palms together in front of the chest. Again, same variation. We want to engage the core, drop the shoulder blades down the back, and then bring the arms up overhead. So this is the simplest version of this pose. If you would like to bring your foot up to touch, either your lower leg or up to your upper thigh, that is also an option here. And again, with balance, we always want to create what we call a drishti, so you're looking down toward the mat, and you're not focusing on what's going on in the room or with your other classmates. And then we'll slowly release this, and we'll come to the other side. So we'll bend the knee, and the ankle is going to go on the foot's going to go on the right ankle. And then again, you know, if you want to bring the foot up